am testing the Nikon Z30, and I am actually using the microphone that comes with this camera so that you can get an idea for how it sounds. Now I'm going to put my hand out like this, and I'm about 1.5 arm lengths away from the microphone. I do think that from what I've seen with this camera, it does have a clean sound. It does have noise cancellation. I love the clarity of the picture, and I love this camera. It is so easy to transport. At first I was having problems with the battery, but then I discovered that I was doing something wrong. But this camera is lightweight. I can just throw it in my purse if I wanted to. It's easy to manipulate. So I mean, it's a very good camera, and I highly recommend it. Okay? So anyway, so this is the test.
All right, guys, so today I'm reviewing the Nikon Z30 that I got off of Amazon. Now, first impressions when I pulled this thing out of the box is it's nice and it has a little solid feel to it, but it's not super heavy. I mean, this is definitely something you can throw into your, your side bag or your purse, and you're not really going to notice it. So it's great just to have, with you all the time. Size-wise, it's definitely, a little bit smaller than one of your full-frame cameras, but that's why I really like it. The grip and everything on the side is a little small for your fingers. I mean, I don't have huge hands, but trying to wrap my fingers around it, it does. It is a bit finicky because it is smaller. It feels like, to me, even the button layout or something reminds me of a 35mm camera. So it is it's fun like that. It's kind of nostalgic. It definitely makes me want to go out and take pictures with it. Now, I got the kit that comes with the 16 to 50, and then I'm looking over here, I think it's a 50 to 250 right there. So between these two lenses, you are set. So, it's not a, high-end professional, mirrorless camera, but it does a nice job of bridging the gap. If you're coming from something, a bit more consumer, like you're just been shooting in your iPhone, but you want to come out and you want to have a bit more control, be able to have better depth of field and just better image quality altogether, this is a great step up because in automatic, it'll do everything for you, but at the same time, it does give you the options of easily being able to adjust ISO, aperture, f-stop, all that kind of stuff. So that's really nice, just to kind of level your game up, and just gives you a bit more control over how your images turn out. If you're doing, some vlogging and stuff with this camera, it's nice because it is so lightweight, so holding it in one hand is really easy. Also, this flip out screen, can rotate all the way around, so if you're doing any sort of, direct camera stuff, you got this right here. Now you do lose, I think, most of, if not all, the information on the screen, so that's just something to keep in mind. So yeah, I wish you were able to have the option of either turning the information on the screen on or off, but that is what it is. So overall, I'm really liking this camera. The only downside, at least the kit that I got, did not come with a battery charger. Now, of course, I'm going to go out and get extra batteries and charger anyway because of how much I'm going to be using this camera, but it would have been nice if they included that in the kit, because right now the only way to charge the included battery is through the USB-C port on the side, which definitely works. It's on the slow side, but at the same time, I hate having my camera tied up charging the battery. I don't want to waste any time. If I need to take it out, I'm like, oh crap, I don't have the battery charger, I got to plug the whole camera in. So yeah, that would have just been a nice addition. I'm not sure why they didn't do that, but yeah, I'm gonna have to go out and buy one of those. So just be aware of that when you get this camera. Get extra batteries, and you're gonna have to get a battery charger for that. But other than that, this is a great, solid little camera. It's fits right there kind of in the middle of, their lineup, from going from the total consumer cameras to their total professional cameras. So it's a nice middle ground. It could be a nice B cam or something that you can just, have to take some extra pictures with if you want that extra quality. So go out and buy one.
Hello, we are reviewing the Nikon Z30. Just had a couple of thoughts on it that I would share with you. This is not the onboard mic. This is a wireless mic pack that I had in a previous separate purchase. So you can expect what an onboard mic normally sounds like. If possible, you'll want to have either something like this or a lav of some sort. So some of the things that I like about it is the 4K video with no crop. The video on this looks really good. It's got 120 frames per second slow-mo in HD, but there is no 4K slow-mo. It's got a flippy screen, which is great. Perfect for filming yourself like we are right now. It's small, it's light, it takes good photos. I probably would not consider this a professional photography camera, but for killing it on social media, yeah, it'll definitely do the job. And there is no 30-minute limit on your recording for video. So some things that I don't like about it as much, I already said there's no 4K slow-mo. There is no headphone jack. If you were trying to film someone else and wanted to be monitoring the audio, there's no way to do that. The lenses are really small and light, but they're kind of slow. I mean, it's what you'd expect for kit lenses. I got the pack with two lenses, 16-50 and the 50-250. They are really good for video. There's no stabilization in this camera. You can get lenses, excuse me, you can get lenses that are stabilized, and there's no viewfinder on this camera, which is another reason I say it's really focused more for video. So bottom line, it's an affordable camera. It works really well for video. It takes good photos. I wouldn't buy it to be a professional photographer, but you could certainly do YouTube, TikTok. You could maybe do some professional video work with it if you upgraded the lens. And certainly just for a vlogger type of person, this would be very sufficient. Thanks.
Welcome to my review of the Nikon Z30 creator camera. First and foremost, I just want to come out right and just tell you, I love this camera. This is an amazing camera. I'm glad to have had the opportunity to order this through Amazon Vine. If I didn't, this was definitely one of the cameras I was actually looking at purchasing for myself for amateur videography, potentially starting a YouTube channel, something like that. this camera is purpose built for creators, for videography. So it does not have some of the features, I think, for still pictures, like a viewfinder. But for me, that's okay because it compensates with an amazing LCD screen. But before we get too much into details on the camera itself, I just want to show what the camera comes with. It comes with the 50 to 250 kit lens, or at least the kit that I ordered through Vine came with the zoom lens, so the 50 to 250 with a 4.5 to 6.3 aperture. It also has the currently attached 16 to 50 millimeter lens with 3.5 to 6.3 aperture. And it comes with a battery, a USB-C cord, and a shoulder strap or neck strap. Right here, you can see. And it has manuals, typical manuals and stuff. Right here. And USB-C to USB-A cable. And it is a USB 3.0. So, onto the features itself. Like I said, I love this camera. Coming from using a GoPro, which is what I'm currently using to record this. I wish I could have another Z30 to record this video to show you the difference in video quality, but I don't. I'm not that rich, but anyhow, again, this is an amazing camera. Absolutely in love with this camera. It is really nice, and you could tell that they put a lot of thought into making this for creators, because it has a lot of the features that creators want, which is you got manual modes, you got auto modes, you got interchangeable lenses, you have a hot shoe with dual stereo mics. Let's see, you have USB-C input to charge, and also to transfer files to a PC if you want to plug this USB-C to a computer. It has a mini HDMI out, mic in, LCD screen. You can flip all the way, like so. I mostly use it in this configuration to record product reviews, such as this one, but not this one, obviously. Let's see what else. Let me turn it on so you can see. As you can see, it fills a lot of the screen. It is a touch screen display. I have purchased some additional accessories on here for this. I bought a dead cat microphone cover to subdue some wind noise on these mics, which has proven to be very helpful. I also have an external light that I use to attach for product reviews. So overall, this, like I said, is perfect for my use case, right? Because I want to make product reviews, eventually want to do, videos of myself or other things. I don't know. But this is a lot better than trying to use a phone or a GoPro. GoPro, I think, is a different market. I think they're more targeted towards, action cameras, outdoor activities, outdoor videography, with a lot of movement. You can use this for this, but I probably would not strap this to a helmet. I would not, ride a motorcycle with this camera strapped on, because it is bigger, it is heavier. I think it's a little bit more delicate than a GoPro. If a GoPro broke or got dropped, I probably wouldn't worry about it. So comparing this to a phone, again, this Nikon Z30 is purpose built. You put on auto, aim it, and record, and you're set. I feel like that's so much more convenient and so much better because you're not fidgeting around with a phone software or application and adjusting things, and maybe you're stuck with whatever lenses are on your phone. This, you can change your lenses to whatever Nikon has in its lineup. You can even get a Nikon lens adapter to use with their standard, I don't know what they call it, their NIKKOR lenses with their standard mirrorless mounts. I'm not a photography expert. I'm not a Nikon expert. I'm just, your regular everyday person, just starting out in videography, photography. So for me, I think this is perfect. It's not the highest end, but it's not the lowest end. I would consider this more like a prosumer product. So, and I like to play around with it. I like to learn it. I've only spent a couple of weeks with this camera so far, and I love the quality of the images. I love the quality of the videos, the audio that it records with the video. The only thing I find that might be lacking is that it can only record 4K 30 frames per second, I think, is the max that it can do. Let me check that real quick. Yep, 4K 30. And recording that I have no issues with, on this camera at all. It could record it all day, depends on your memory card size. But I have no problems with it. Unlike a GoPro or a smartphone, where those devices, I think, are prone to overheating. I think that's probably why there's a limitation on this camera as well. But I find 4K 30 quite sufficient for my needs. Most of the time I'm recording in 1080 60 anyways. So I could fit more, footage on my SD card. One of the other things I don't like is transferring files. It's a little cumbersome. I found the best way to transfer files is just to plug in the USB-C cord to a computer. The downside with that is if you're transferring data, you can't charge the battery. So you can only do one or the other. You can be in data transfer mode or charging mode when you plug in the USB-C. You can also transfer pictures with their Nikon software, which I also recommend via the smartphone. So if you want to import media from the camera, pictures or videos, definitely get their Nikon SnapBridge app. That's extremely helpful. I would definitely recommend that. Other than that, you know, find some good video editing software and record videos and just play around, practice. I'm just practicing right now. I'm still learning. I have a long ways to go, but I'm glad I've had the opportunity to use this camera. I mean, this is top notch for me. It's so much better to use a single purpose device like this compared to, you know, a general purpose smartphone or another niche product device like a GoPro or DJI Pocket, you know, camera. Those are good for videography as well, don't get me wrong. I just feel like those devices are for different markets. This is ideal for indoor videography, studio work. You can do outdoor travel photography and videos with this. You can mount it to a tripod or one of those handheld tripods via this 1/4-inch screw mount. But it is a little bit more cumbersome because it's heavier. It definitely does have that durable build quality to it. It's very well built. I have no worries about it, but I would be scared to drop this. This is, I think the kit that I got retails for around like $1,000 or something like that. I don't remember the exact price, but it was close to that figure. I think body only, I think it hovers around like $800, something like that. But in the kit that I got, it pushed it up to $1,000 range. And again, if I had to pay for this, I'd probably just get the 16 to 50 millimeter kit lens, or just a 50 millimeter lens would be good enough for what I'm using it for, which is, again, product reviews and videography for recording people or pets, etc. It does have manual modes, like I said, but I don't really use it. I just mainly leave it on auto for now and to familiarize myself with the camera. And the other settings I've adjusted was the video quality. Again, you know, 1080-60 for videos and to upload to websites is ideal. Keeps the file size small and the data transfer speed fast. I've done some photography with it and it's pretty good. The vibration reduction, I think, is built into the lens, I would say. Let me double check that real quick. 16 to 50, 3.5. Yep, it's built into the lens. So it does have vibration reduction. It does a pretty good job if you're just walking around. You do see a little shake. If you do go out and about, if you're walking or running, or if you're doing fast movement, I do suggest getting a gimbal. I have been looking online for one and I'm considering purchasing one. One of the other things I'd like to talk about is the autofocus system. It's really good, works 100% all the time. It's really good at face tracking, have no problems tracking, a head movement, going back and forth or side to side, etc. The sensitivity or night mode photography is really good as well. Focusing is really good as well. As I mentioned, I wish I could record this review with the Nikon Z30 so you could see how good it is, but unfortunately, obviously I don't have more than one camera, but I'm recording this on the GoPro, and you can tell there's a lot of grain to this, and in parts of my video you also notice that the audio drops out a little. So, and that's because the sensitivity of the microphone just isn't there compared to the Nikon Z30's mics. One final thing I'd like to talk about too is the accessories that I think would be helpful if you're using this camera. Like I said, there's a hot shoe here. So what I bought was a small rig microphone cover for the dual mics. It's built specifically for the Nikon Z30, and it covers these two microphones that are along the sides of the hot shoe. You can see I can just slide that in, and it covers it up, gives it a nice microphone cover. And the other thing I got was a light, mainly for product photography or portrait photography or video, to give you a nice lit and controlled light. So, and this you can fit right on top of the small rig, because the small rig has a mount as well. So you can see here, very useful little accessories that you can buy on Amazon as well. It helps to build a better or give you a better result in your photography, and might be helpful in your videos. It definitely helps me. Anyways, in conclusion, this Nikon Z30, I can't say anything, I can't say any more good things about this. I mean, this is a fantastic special purpose device specifically for videography, photography. I wouldn't use it for anything else. It's convenient, it's compact, reasonably portable. I would probably even use it for travel photography. If I was traveling or on vacation or something, I'd probably take this with me and do either videos or photography. It's that good to me, and it can even replace your standard DSLR. If you have a dedicated DSLR that are typically a lot larger than this, you can reasonably take this on vacations and travel and just do, travel photography. And it would be just as good, if not even better, than any other DSLR. Yeah, especially with the interchangeable lenses, you can, use almost any NIKKOR lens in their lineup if you have an adapter. You just can't beat that with, a smartphone or a GoPro or DJI device. You're stuck with whatever lenses that comes with it. So having that flexibility in a camera for photography and video is really good, because it allows you to compose the shots that you want, shoot the shots that you want. You can get a high zoom lens fitted on the camera and you're good to go, or you can just use, a standard 50mm lens for portraits and you're good to go. If you want to do macro shots, you can get a macro lens and fit it on, and you can, do all of your macro photography. It's super flexible. Again, special purpose for video and photography, mainly video, I think. And it does amazingly well. And I know there are other competitors to the Z30 that are out there that are similar, with similar features and abilities, you know, especially from Nikon or from Canon and other manufacturers. But this is what I have here, and to me, this is the best of what I have available compared to other devices that I own for what I want to do. And so, easy, 5 stars for me, highly recommended. You know, check out the accessories that come with it, you know, accessorize it. I also have a tripod that I use with it that I can't show you because I'm using it for the video right now. But yeah, definitely get your creator content going. This will be a good starter or mid-level camera if you're doing content creation. Anyways, thank you for watching. See you next time.
This is the Nikon D30 camera that I just recently got, and so far it looks like it's a really good camera. I've used it. If you notice here on the screen, I've set it up to record video. So it's got your battery indicator, it's got your audio indicator, so you can see if you're too loud or not loud enough. It does have anti-vibration, so that you can, you know, not be steady with the picture, and it'll auto-stabilize it, similar to other cameras. You can also see your focus information, what it's set to. So right now it's automatic. I have a small memory card in there.
Alright, hello everybody. I am doing a test video right now with the Nikon Z30. I am recording in 4K 30 FPS using the .mp4 file format instead of .mov, since .mov can be a little bit more storage hungry. As earlier I was doing a 5-minute test, and that ate almost like 8 gigs of storage on the SD card on its own. And also I'm starting out with the lights on and also using the internal microphones. That way you guys can see what that looks like. I have a fan on, so that's why I'm quickly going to switch over to this microphone here. I'm just trying to set a baseline, and so I'm going to get farther away so you can get an example of what this sounds like from farther away. I'm also going to be moving back and forth very fast and quickly as I get closer, so we can kind of see how quickly the autofocus and everything can work. As you can see, it does a good job. It can focus on my ugly face very well. So I will now be plugging in this Moment brand C1 microphone that I was testing earlier for another review, and it works very well, if I can say. So I'm going to plug that in. And so now I am going to be doing this test with the rest of this. I could clip this on my shirt, but I just find it easier to hold right now. So yeah, this microphone does a very good job. The battery life that I get out of it is usually at least a couple hours. Like, I haven't had no issues with the batteries at all when recording or taking pictures with this so far. I got the kit that comes with both the telephoto lens as well as the default kit lens as well. But I've been playing around with it, and like I said, I've had no issues with it whatsoever. I love the flip out screen. The flip out screen is very useful. That's what I keep staring at to make sure that I'm still focused. Like I said, I keep moving back and forth just because I want to test how well it's able to keep track of all this stuff, so that way you guys can get an example of all that. But I will now be turning off the lights. So this is completely in the dark. Well, maybe not in the dark. There's some ambient lighting over there they use for like streams and stuff. So now this should be a good example of what this will look like in a darker environment. This is without a key light on. This is just with that as like the only ambient lighting in the background, plus like a little neon sign I got on the wall in front of me. But I think it still does a good job. As you can see, as if I get closer, it still does a good job at autofocusing on my face, blurring out the background. I think it looks phenomenal. So I will now turn on my key light. Now I have the key light on. This is actually with the key light at the lowest setting. So now you can kind of get an example of what it looks like in a darker room, but with a key light. And as you can see, it still does a very good job focusing on my ugliness. But anyway, so I'm going, like I said, with this microphone, I think that it does a good job at blocking out that fan and everything. So that's why I'm using this microphone. But as you can see, walking around, if I turn my head, then it might have difficulties focusing on me. But if I stare back at it, once it locks onto my eyes, then the autofocus works very well. Now, as for a use standpoint as a streaming camera, I will say I personally have not had any issues with it overheating. And I have used it for 4.5-hour streams a couple times in the past week, and I have had no issues whatsoever. However, for battery, I have been using this battery pack to keep it powered and to keep it charged over USB-C. So that way the battery itself, I wouldn't have to swap it out all the time. So I do recommend, if you do stream, if you are going to use this as a streaming webcam, I would recommend getting a dummy battery to keep it powered, or get one of these beefier battery packs. But I will say one thing, if you guys do have any issues with it overheating, if you do, I do know that sometimes 4K is kind of strenuous on a lot of cameras, especially cell phone cameras. I know this isn't a cell phone camera, but I'm just using that as an example. There's some phones like the Samsung and the newer Samsung Galaxy phones and newer iPhones that sometimes have difficulties doing 4K for too long before they overheat. So what I would recommend is, if you do have any issues with overheating when using a streaming webcam, I would lower your resolution from 4K to 1080p. Not only that, it's not only so you can get a smoother frame overall, because you can get up to 60 instead of 30, but 1080p is less intense on the camera and the camera's processor and sensor anyway. And plus, if you're going to have your webcam up in the corner somewhere, then people aren't going to notice much of a difference between 1080p and 4K. So that's what I would personally recommend to you guys out there if you are going to use a streaming webcam and you do have any issues with overheating. But overall, I have had no complaints about this camera. It's also very beneficial to see that there is a tally light on the front of it from the camera right next to the lens. That way you can tell, you can see that you're recording. And not only that, it says recording itself on the flip out screen if you're using that as well. So it's very easy to make sure that you're recording and not just, pressing a button, hoping that you recorded and then going back to it and like, oh, I didn't record any of that. But yeah, so I hope that this was a good example demo. I hope that I was able to show you guys how easy it was able to automatically adjust itself from the light to dark to in between with the key light, as well as showing you the difference between the main microphone and this microphone. But yeah, I would highly recommend it. I think it does a good job. And like I said, this with no adjustments whatsoever made to the camera. This is completely done on auto, like the camera's auto setting. Like I said, at 4K 30 FPS resolution and frame rate, and with the .MP4 file extension instead of .mov. You can get higher quality with the .mov format, but it will come at the cost of eating more storage. Excuse me. Anyway, I hope that this video test was very beneficial to some of you guys out there. I hope it was helpful in helping some of you guys make a decision. And yeah, thanks for watching. Oh, and before I cut it off, if you made it this far, just know that Amazon might kind of lower the resolution of the video. So some online file sites like Amazon, YouTube, all of them sometimes, compress the video very badly. So you may not actually get the full resolution of this video, but nevertheless, hope you guys were able to get an opinion out of it, and thanks for watching. Peace.